Hello, hello. What day is it? It's Tuesday and it's Travel Tuesday, and we are here. I have my special guest. As you can see, her name is Gwen Career. I'll introduce her in a minute. Uh, but are you ready? We are getting ready to go on a tour, a journey. Let me pause that. And of course, it's not trying to pause. All right, turn it off. Okay. So thank you for being here. I see we have someone who's live. Thank you. And feel free to ask questions, put stuff in the comments. But we are gonna get started. So we want you to join us on a journey through history on the Underground Railroads and the Civil Rights Trail. Your conductors for today is Gwen Correa, and she's with Memorable Moments Travel. Gwen, say a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Eva. Thank you for having me today. And I'm just real happy to be here and real excited about this collaboration of us coming together and curating these two wonderful and fabulous trips of history, American history and African American history, and how those two worlds collide.
All right. So, and I'm Eva Jordan Johnson, for those of you who don't know. And both Gwen and I, we're group travel advisors. We specialize in groups. And we are going to get started. Are you ready to journey with us on the Underground Railroad and the Civil Rights Trail? And I'll be asking you to put stuff in the comments. So let's get started. Let me share my screen here.
It's so exciting.
Yes. Okay, here we go. As I said, I'm Eva with Jordan Travel Enterprise, and we have Gwen Korea, and we are going to get started. And okay, here we go. So I want to share with you some of the benefits of group travel, because group travel unites. You don't have to worry about the planning and the costs and the logistics. You'll be able to experience new things, you make new friendships, and you'll gain new perspectives and opinions. And I've been blessed to have clients spend time and do an endorsement for us. And the photo is a former group that we've had. So we want to take you up close and personal with the history of the Underground Railroads and the Civil Rights Trail. And Gwen, if you can hit the next slide, we want to share you about how we're going to take this journey.
So, Eva, thank you. We've had the opportunity to curate these two wonderful tours, and we designed them where you can do them back to back, so you can do both, or you can do one or the other. That's up to you. But we have vetted one of our preferred suppliers, and with the pandemic and all the pause in travel, we wanted to make sure we got a supplier that's been around for a while so we wouldn't have any issues. So we have a supplier who has been around with the company for 100 years, and they specialize in premium deluxe tours. So what does that mean to you? Well, that means the standard coach, as you see on the screen, is normally 49 to 53 seats. However, they reconfigure the coaches for us, and so we have a 40-seater coach for these two trips. So that means we get space, your own personal space, equals that of business class on an airplane. That's a good way to describe it. So you get a lot of space. We are taking, all the precautions, all the safety precautions, all the protocols in place to make sure that this trip will be safe and sane for everyone. So we're so excited. and your comfort means a lot to us.
So are you ready for the journey? So I want you to put a plane in the comments or a thumbs up in the chat. So we are beginning the tour with the Underground Railroad. We will be traveling from Detroit to Washington, D.C. for 6 days and 5 nights, departing on June the 12th of next year. So you've got plenty of time to get ready for the trip.
So as we arrive in Detroit, Detroit is a beautiful city. I spent some time there back in 2019 when we could travel, and I had the pleasure of visiting some of the museums. But as is listed on the slide, one place you can come in early. You can do a pre, so you can come in instead of on June the 12th, you can come in on June 10th, 11th. You can come in pre, and even I can arrange that for you. And you can spend some time. So the Charles H. Wright Museum in Detroit houses one of the world's largest permanent exhibits on African American culture. And also, what's not mentioned is they have the Ford Museum there as well. And the Ford Museum has a exhibit called Let Freedom Ring, and it's about African American culture in America. And it has the bus that Rosa Parks actually sat on, the bus that caused or spurred the civil rights movement all those many years ago. And I know President Obama visited the museum and he took a picture. It's a now iconic picture of him sitting in that seat as well. So we provide a lot of opportunities for you to take great selfies and post on social media.
So now we're onward to the Underground Railroad Museum. And so we're going to be, and there will be a live reenactment. It's not just kind of walking through the museum. You're going to be immersed in the adventure. And the journey begins as you're entering through the door of no return on Goree Island in Africa. At the museum, and as the journey begins, will transform you to the Underground Railroad. You will actually have wristbands added that are like shackles, and your conductor is going to be leading you to freedom. Then after that time, you're going to be traveling on to Cincinnati, which will be the next stop on the journey.
And when we arrive in Cincinnati, we will visit the Underground Railroad Center, which back probably anywhere between 10, 15 years ago, I can't remember when the Underground Railroad Center was built in Cincinnati, but it's quite a few years ago. I remember, though, Oprah Winfrey donated a few $1 million for one of the exhibits there, and I had the opportunity to visit the center, and it was fabulous. You start on the first floor, and that's the ugly side of our history. But as we continue up and we get to the top, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of African American culture and all that it's added to America. And then as we leave there, we will head out and continue to the Abolitionist Trail, where we'll stop at John Rankin's house, where he assisted 2,000 fugitive slaves along the Underground Railroad. And then Harriet Beach Stowe, which you probably know. We'll go to her slavery museum. You know, Harriet was the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Then we will travel along to Pennsylvania. And how many of you knew? I want you to put it in the comments. Did you know that Western Pennsylvania was a major passage point for the Underground Railroad? So if you knew that, you can put yes in the chat. Or if not, just put no. We'll be learning something new today. So in the Pittsburgh, there's the African American Historic Site with our, and we will have a local expert. And for most of our local experts, they'll be African American that will come on and show us and bring the highlights out of the in Pennsylvania. And then we'll be continuing on to Washington.
So the trip will culminate in Washington, D.C. And of course, we will visit the National Museum of African American History and Culture. However, we will also go along and see Duke Ellington's residence. We'll see the Howard Theater, George Bell's school site, the arena stage, and also the Slavery and Segregation and Culture and Arts in Washington, D.C. I know that we'll also stop at Frederick Douglass's place in Washington, D.C. And then we're 2 days in Washington, D.C. So we'll spend a lot of time at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, because that place actually, I forget how many floors it is, but each day you can do a floor a day. However, we have two, so we will be spending a lot of time there, and then you'll have time on your own. And
Now
so some of the days does include meals. So you see, they include breakfast, and we'll go through all of the inclusions a little later.
You know, I haven't been to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. That is something that's been on my list, but I haven't gotten there. So I am looking forward to that part of the tour. So tell me, are you ready to continue on the tour, or will this be your area where you're going to depart to go home? So you have the option to depart from Washington D.C. to go home, or go on to the second tour, which is the Civil Rights Trail. Put in the comments, are you ready to go home, or are you ready to move on to the next part of the tour? So on day 6, you'll be providing transfers to Dulles International Airport for your flight home, or for those of you who want to continue or start your tour here, the journey begins for the Civil Rights Trail. And what's included? You have 5 breakfasts and dinner. You will be getting audio headsets and for flexible sightseeing. And this is a luxury air-conditioned coach with Wi-Fi, so you'll be able to take pictures and do lives or check your messages. And these are cherry-picked hotels. They're tried and true. They are 4-star hotels. And your portage, your restaurant gratuities, all those things are included.
So what's not included is early check-in or late check-out at the hotels. And of course, your airfare is not included, whether you're coming internationally or domestic. Travel insurance is not included, but it's something that Eva and I both strongly encourage. During the pandemic, and it hit us so suddenly, and that's how things happen. They hit you suddenly. You don't plan for them. And so to have that insurance is great. I know in processing my clients and Eva processing her clients, trying to either rebook them, get their money back, get credits for future travel, it was a complete nightmare. But it worked a lot better when people had the travel insurance. So because the people that had the travel insurance, they went away happy campers. The people that did not have the travel insurance, it took a lot to get for them, even, a small fraction of what they had paid back or credit towards future travel. So we strongly urge that you get travel insurance. I myself, my policy is I won't leave home without it. Just like my American Express travel insurance.
All right.
So, and then also gratuities for the travel director, coach, and driver and the local experts is not included. However, we do allow you the opportunity that you can pay that in full, and you'd see that on the reservation form when you book.
Okay. So next we are going to be on that civil rights trail um, from Atlanta, Birmingham, Marion, Selma, and Montgomery. That's 7 nights and 6 days. And it's departing on June 17th.
So we welcome to Atlanta. Atlanta is the cradle of civil rights movement. So we arrived, we're transferred as a group. And so in that transfer is included in the price. And it will take us to the hotel. And then we'll start some sightseeing though on the way, where we'll see Martin Luther King National Historic Park, which includes the birthplace of MLK, the King Center, and Ebenezer Baptist Church. We'll also visit the Apex Museum, and we'll delve deep into better understanding of the continent of Africa and influences and contributions of African Americans in our society. So then we land at our hotel, where we'll have a wonderful welcome dinner that includes the wine.
Then on to our next stop. We will be going from Atlanta to Birmingham. We'll journey to Anniston, Alabama, to see the Freedom Riders National Monument, dedicated to the freedom riders of the Civil Rights Movement. We will see the former Greyhound bus station, where in 1961 a mob attacked the integrated group of white and Black freedom fighters, promoting the federal ruling of the interstate bus travel that could not be segregated. We are walking through history on this tour.
So our next stop brings us to Birmingham Civil Rights Movement. And as I stated about the when we were in Cincinnati, some of our history is very dark. And so here we'll see where the 4 girls lost their lives during the retaliation bombing. So this is going to be a very emotional, fulfilling journey that we take. We do allow downtime each day so we could share our experiences, we can get things off our chest, we can share our views and just kind of debrief and regroup. And this also we'll see the Kelly Ingram Park, containing powerful sculptures depicting civil rights struggles, and the Bethel Baptist Church. So it's going to be a very emotional, phenomenal day. But with the down, we're going to take the up. As Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. So we're going high.
So next, you see this iconic bridge. We will be going to we'll take a short drive to Marion to visit the Interpretive Center and the memorial for Viola Liesel, the white civil rights activist who died at the hands of the KKK. And a highlight will be being able to walk over the Edmund Pettus Bridge, which is full of history. Recently, we will be following the steps of John Lewis, who's recently died, and talking about Good Trouble, President Obama, and Martin Luther King. So we'll be walking through the steps of history on day 4 of the Civil Rights Tour.
So next we'll hit Montgomery sightseeing, and we'll get the opportunity to see the Rosa Parks Library and Museum, which was built to uphold and interpret for the public benefit, education, and enjoyment materials related to the events and accomplishments of the individuals associated with the Montgomery boycott. As you know, that was one of the pivotal points in our history. So we'll also see, excuse me, we'll also see the King Memorial Baptist Church, which was founded in 1877. So we are going back in history. And it was founded in a slave trader's pen that was located on Dexter Avenue, was formerly Market Street, because that was the marketplace for guess what? And then we'll move on to the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, and the Lynching Memorial. And again, we'll return to the hotel and we'll have dinner and wine. You might need a couple of glasses after that day because it's going to be a very emotional journey. But Maya Angelou said, the more we learn about our history, the more liberated we are. And I agree with that. So learning this stuff and seeing this stuff, and it's one way we can make sure it never happens again.
And our next stop on the journey is Tuskegee. Um, this morning we'll discover the remarkable history of Tuskegee with a visit to the Tuskegee Human Rights and Civil Rights Multicultural Center with highlights. And when I think of Tuskegee, as shown in the picture, I think of the Tuskegee Airmen, and a good friend of mine, her dad was a Tuskegee Airman. And it was just so interesting to hear the history and what they went through. So, and after that, we will be joined together in the evening for a celebration dinner. We'll have wine, toasting, and just talk about the memories and connect with the friends that you met along the way.
So, and next we say farewell to our newfound friends. One thing about group travel too is you meet friends, and one thing about going on a journey such as this is you're going to be able to connect with people, have deep connections, and because of the experience. So when I travel, I make friends sometimes for life. Friends that I've met 10, 20 years ago, they're still my friends. And that's the beauty about group travel. So we're going to say farewell, and our travel director will probably be like our brother or sister by that time, because they will be with us on both journeys. So if you are blessed enough to join us for both journeys, we have the same travel director that will be with us on both. And as Eva stated, we, in curating these two wonderful trips, we also made sure that we had African-American drivers, we had African-American tour director, travel director, and we also had the local experts would be African-American, and the restaurants where they do provide dinner, those will be African-American owned restaurants as much as we can. Because if our numbers get too large, they can't squeeze us all into some of the smaller ones. But in our free time, we will provide you with a list of local African-American owned businesses wherever we stop and wherever we are. So you will have the opportunity to go and visit and shop and spend Black dollars and shop with them.
That sounds exciting. So in conclusion, with this tour, there's just a few more meals that are included. Most of the things are the same, and it includes portage and restaurant gratuities at both. So when we leave one location, you just put your luggage outside the door, and it will magically get on the bus and be there at your next hotel accommodation. So, and your hotel tips, charges, and local taxes are included. And what's not included, again, is very similar to the other one. There's no early check-in. Your international domestic air fares are not included. And again, like Gwen said, we highly, highly recommend travel insurance, and the gratuities to the travel director, coaches, and drivers are not included. But if you say, you know what, I want that included when you register, we can include that in your package. So I want to know, are you ready to take the journey? Save your space today. And I want to stop screen sharing, and my mouse is not working.
And while you're doing that, Eva, I just want to say, this is a phenomenal opportunity. This is something new for my agency, and in collaboration with Eva, I think it's something new for Jordan Travel Enterprise as well. But I wanted to say, and you saw the bus, we have 40 spaces. We're starting with one bus, so our spaces are limited, and we're working along with two other travel advisors Eva is in Florida. I'm in California. We have another one in New Jersey and one in Atlanta. So we are all coming together and selling into this trip. So I say all that to say that space is limited. So you want to definitely make up your mind if you're going, and please join us for this phenomenal, definitely memorable experience.
Well, thank you so much. I'm having technical difficulties here. I see that we have there are some of you on watching live, and welcome to the replay viewers. If you come and you are replay viewers, put replays rock in the comments. Thank you, Danita, for adding information in the comments, which I can't see right now because somehow my mouse does not work. Oh, looks like it's come back. Oh, praise, thank you, Jesus. Okay.
Yay!
Oh my,
Yay!
in this life of internet, the technologies happen. So let me see if we have some of the comments here. Danita, there's so much that's included. Let me see any other comments that I want to share. All right.
And I want to say that Eva and I worked really hard to negotiate a very, very reasonable price point for this trip, considering that it is a luxury, premium deluxe luxury trip that comes with a lot of perks. And we'll be staying at 4- and 5-star hotels, depending on where we are on each. And the dinners that we have at the restaurants that are included and breakfasts that are included, they're very nice and very sumptuous. And I'm sure you'll get full. You can eat as much as you want and you will have a good time.
And we want you, Gwen and I have partnered with other travel agents, travel consultants will be booking into this group from Atlanta, New Jersey, and California. So if you're interested, send me an email that's in the comments there, or direct message me so that I can, get you the information. Because space will be limited. There's lots of interest on this tour, and we want you to reserve your spot today. Take advantage. There is an early bird pricing, so the early bird gets the benefits. So I urge you to click. Not click on there's not a link, but put your direct message or contact me at the email. And we are looking forward to this special time in our history. I think about the younger folks to be able to, and even us as older folks, as I shouldn't say older, as mature people, to be able to not just read about history, but to actually live through it. And so
that's one of the things I'm excited about, Eva, that reenactment in the Underground Railroad. And that's done in a church that was actually during that time. So we are actually going to a site where that was one of the Underground Railroad stops. And then we will reenact going through the railroad and how that felt with an actual freedom conductor.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. And if you agree, you can put a thumbs up in the comments. And if you have questions about the tour and we're no longer live, you can put those in the comments and I will get back to you. If there's a question that, Gwen can answer, we'll get back to you. And I just want to thank Danita for taking the time to put in the comments for us and keep you up to date. And I always like to, and thank you, Gwen, for being here and for, sharing with the audience.
It's
And
my,
any last words, Gwen?
I was just going to say it's my pleasure. And I know, Eva, I wanted to state that we both have payment plans. So if you wanted to do both, it makes it really affordable. So we have ways to get you there. We're here to get you there.
Yes. And we have time. We're not hitting you at it's for next year to get ready. And who is ready to travel and to get out and enjoy? Me too. Yeah, thinking about groups and traveling as a group, that's how Gwen and I met. We were on a trip and we were in the Caribbean and we met, and it was years ago, and we have maintained our friendship, kept connected. We support each other, pray with one another, and it's just a blessing. That's one of the blessings of group travel, and meeting new people and traveling and having wonderful experiences. So
As you said, Eva, travel unites people, and
yeah.
it really does. And this type of travel, this cultural travel, and this experience, and going through an emotional, like they say, roller coaster. We're going to have very lot of highs, and there's going to be some lows. That is going to connect you with your travel mates.
Yes.
You will. I'm sure you definitely have friends, garner friends for life, like Eva and I. We met in it was Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Come on. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gwen.
Thank
Uh, and thank you, Danita, and to those who have joined. And I always like to end the broadcast by saying, have a blessed day and do take time to be a blessing to someone else. Bye for now.
Bye bye.